Ed here with a Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. Now this is the Mystic Black 128 gig capacity. This is the Verizon wireless variant. And before I get into actually removing it from the box, let's go over pricing and specifications. So this will set you back $1,300 US without a trade-in before tax. You heard right, expensive, putting it mildly. If you want the 512 gig variant, that only comes in this same color, Mystic Black, and that'll set you back $1,450 before tax. We have a 6.9-inch 1440 by 3088 dynamic AMOLED display capable of 120 Hz refresh rate, but only when running in full HD. 4,500 milliamp hour battery. The entire phone is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus with 5G capability on board, of course. We have 4 cameras in total. On the rear, which you're going to see in a moment, we have a wide-angle 108 megapixel camera, a periscope telephoto 12 megapixel, and an ultra-wide 12 megapixel. The front-facing camera is 10 megapixels. In terms of video capture, we have 4K and 8K support. Running Android 10 out of the box. The S Pen has been relocated. No headphone jack. And that pretty much sums things up. So 12 gigs of RAM, by the way, if I didn't mention that. This is pretty much the top of the line in every way right here in 2020. So without further ado, let's crack it open. The only thing I'm expecting inside of this box besides the phone is the power brick itself. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the camera bump that was introduced with the S20 Ultra. And unfortunately, it has made its way here with this device. But for those of you that follow my channel, you already know that I'm a huge fan of the Note line of phones, and this is no exception. And I actually really like the Mystic Black color. I don't think it's getting enough love because it's more of, you know, somewhere between a silver gray and black metallic finish. Victus Gorilla Glass all around. You can see that camera bump in full force. And I just feel like that's a bit of lazy engineering, but I'm not knocking this device. Remember, this is, in my opinion, right now, at least here in 2020, the best handset money can buy. And boy, is it priced accordingly. So let's see what else is in the box. We've got our charger. Remember, no headphone jack, 25-watt charging. We do not have, unfortunately, we took a step backwards from the Note 10 and 10 Plus, where 45-watt was supported. We have our Type-C to Type-A cable right here. And let's see if there's anything else in here. I believe we'll have a SIM ejector tool. That's where your micro SD card is also stored. If you choose to expand your storage, which I recommend, there's the tool. And you know what? I'm not even interested in the balance. Let's go ahead and do the big reveal. The fingerprint scanner right there. Let's go ahead and remove that plastic and the front plastic. And it is just a really clean device. I do like the form factor much more than the than the S20 Ultra, which just to me was, I just felt like it was a much larger device. Now this is bigger, of course, than the previous gen Note 10 Plus that I used the day it launched, and that was my favorite device until I switched over to the Z Flip. I've got a lot of other phones on the way, the, of course, Surface Duo, as well as the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II. And even though that phone doesn't have the specifications of this device, it is less expensive. So there is something to be said for that. Now, on the bottom of the device, you can see the S Pen has been relocated, as I mentioned, to the left side. Speaker grill, Type-C port for charging, microphone pinhole right there. On the left side, completely clean. On the top of the phone, we have our SIM card slot as well as micro SD card slot. They are 2-in-1 as usual. Another microphone. On the right-hand side of the device, you have your volume rocker as well as your power button. And that's pretty much it. No Bixby button anymore, which I think is a good thing. Was never a fan of it, and I don't think I ever will be. I'm going to agree to everything, at least for now. That may change. And essentially, I was looking for a pin. I'm not going to, let me see. I may walk through this a little bit more. It's telling me to enter it, so let's go for that. And this does have a SIM card pre-installed from Verizon. And, well, it's telling me I'm having a problem with activating. But that's perfectly fine. I will do that later. Again, this was really just to show off the device, a first look, so that everyone could see it. Let me go ahead and peel off the serial number tag with the IMEI, so you get a nice clean look at this. And again, I really like the finish of this phone. I was torn between this and the white color. I am not a fan of the Mystic Bronze at all, believe it or not. And even though this phone is heavier than the Note 10 Plus, I have to say it does feel just as robust, just as solid. Of course, IP68 rated, so this can get wet. Dust, not an issue. And I'm excited about the 5x optical zoom on this, the improvement in the cameras. That's something that is arguably the biggest step forward for this phone, because otherwise, yes, they improved the latency with the S Pen. They've done some other things, but nothing that really changes the game for the Note lineup other than that 120 hertz refresh rate, which I've experienced in phones before and I haven't been blown away by. But hopefully with this device, I will really enjoy it. And with that 4,500 milliamp hour battery, I think that when you're not running, when you are running without the 120 hertz refresh rate, battery life should be fairly solid. Again, the latest and greatest of everything has been put into this. Again, no headphone jack. Of course, wireless charging is supported. I think at 15 watts, it might be a little bit higher. It might be higher than that. But overall, this is right now, here in 2020, the handset to beat in terms of flagship specifications and certainly a price to match. But that pretty much rounds things out. Again, just a first look. There's that 10 megapixel camera front and center, top and center, and they did actually shrink that pinhole. I will be comparing this to the Note 10 Plus. I will be comparing it to the Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, and maybe some other phones, like I said, like the Microsoft Surface Duo down the road when it arrives. But again, excited to share this with all of you. This is a beast of a device. Whether or not it's worth its price is really a matter of how badly you need a new device. And I'll be getting into that as I go through my coverage of this phone. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. And please stay safe. Later.